not synonymous. Pledging that you're going to do something is very different than the act of actually doing it. And you have to be an idiot to not understand that and to think that a jury is going to buy that.
Last question for you, Ken, here. Thank you so much for your analysis. We were talking about how this jury is inside of the Fairfax courtroom. They're watching Johnny Depp. They're watching Amber Heard, both actors. Amber Heard looking both of them directly,
or all of the jury members directly in the eyes the entire time. The jury is not exposed to anything that's going on online. They have no idea what public opinion is for Johnny, the hashtags that are going on that are viral on Twitter. Do you think that maybe it could be a completely different story inside of the courtroom? And I like that you brought up that this is a defamation trial. It has nothing to do with the abuse, obviously, that plays a part into it, breeding them as people. But this is about if they were defamed. So with the context of the courtroom, what was presented, not anything that the public thinks, do you think that, honestly, this could go into Amber Heard's favor rather than Johnny Depp?
I mean, it could. It could. I think, if anything, leaving public opinion aside, because the public is not the court here. It's the jury that's going to have to decide. It's the jury that's seen the presentation of the evidence. It's the jury that is instructed on the law, meaning what each side must have proven to render a verdict in their favor, not the public. Look, public opinion, he's definitely won that. But, as I said, it's a defamation case. And did they prove that her article defamed him? Now, there's an added layer here. He is a public figure. The law on defamation, with respect to public figures, it's a higher standard. It has to be proven that actual malice was intended, meaning that she sort of meant to defame him, or that she acted with such gross disregard for the truth that there's actually malice in the words spoken. I don't know that her article meets defamation on a regular standard. I'm almost, I hate to say it, I really don't think that her article met it when you apply the public figure actual malice standard. He is not even mentioned by name in that article, and their relationship is actually not even referenced. She talks about things in her childhood with more specificity than she does, and she doesn't go into specifics that much in any event, but there's more specific reference to things in her distant past than with respect to her marriage to Johnny Depp. And again, this is not to say that, I don't sympathize with Johnny Depp or think that he is, in the right and was a genuine victim of domestic violence. It's just, I don't know that her op-ed constituted actual defamation, actionable defamation.
All right, Ken Belkin, thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. We so appreciate you. We want to alert all of the people who are joining us right now, probably a lot more who are going to be coming on within the hour as we are awaiting the reading of that verdict, 3 o'clock Eastern time inside of that Fairfax County courtroom. We have a couple different shots of the press conference, the podium that has already been set up. The legal team of Johnny Depp going to have to represent him once again because he's not going to be inside of the courtroom. How about that, Mike?
Yeah, that is something when you heard of his weekend activities overseas, so it is really going to be something definitely to see. Daytona, thank you so much for your help here as you'll be with us throughout the day and evening right here on Live Now from Fox with all of this big coverage. Let's go right outside of the courthouse here. You see the media is setting up. We will see who comes to the podium. If anybody after this verdict is read, we are hearing that is happening at 3 p.m. Eastern. We thank all our viewers watching from around the country and, of course, around the world right now. And we are throughout the day going to be playing some of the biggest highlights that came from this trial. And boy, was there a lot of them. But this one had a lot of people talking, and it had a lot of our viewers really hitting the click to see just exactly what this all was about. This is, let's take it back out to one of the most explosive back and forths during this trial. Johnny Depp's attorney fired questions at Amber Heard during her second appearance testifying. Depp's attorney started by making statements towards Heard that her lies have been exposed, which she denied, and said she hasn't lied about what happened to her. Let's listen to some of this right here on Live Now from Fox.
Yes, that's effectively what happened, yeah.
You testify that he actually grabbed that woman's wrist and twisted it, right?
And told her that he could effectively break her wrist by saying he knew how many pounds of pressure, asking her how many pounds of pressure it took to break a human wrist.
But your own witness, your former best friend, Rocky Pennington, she didn't corroborate that, did she?
I'm not quite sure what part of that night she saw. There were a lot of people there.
She didn't testify that Mr. Depp grabbed anyone's wrist in Hicksville.
Again, I don't know what Rocky saw. There were a lot of people there that night.
You testified that once you brought Mr. Depp back to your trailer, he trashed it, correct?
That is correct.
And the manager of the Hicksville trailer park was furious that Johnny had wrecked the whole thing. Do you remember that testimony?
That's correct.
Well, we heard from that manager of the Hicksville trailer park more tonight on Monday, didn't we?
I'm not quite sure who that guy was or if he had any involvement in this. I know a lot of people have come out of the woodwork to be involved.
So you're accusing Mr. Knight of testifying and committing perjury?
I'm not accusing anyone. I just don't recognize that man.
You heard Mr. Knight testify that it was actually you who was upset with Mr. Depp spending time away from him. Isn't that correct?
How would he know? He wasn't there.
You heard Mr. Knight testify that it was actually you who was yelling at Mr. Depp.
Again, I've heard a lot of people say a lot of things to be involved in the Johnny Depp show, but he wasn't there. He doesn't know. And he certainly doesn't know what happened behind closed doors, like most people.
So you're calling Mr. Knight a liar?
I am saying he wasn't there, and what he testified to doesn't match what I know happened. But I don't fault him. He wasn't there, so how would he know?
He testified he was there and was heard. Did you hear that?
That's his testimony, yes.
So you're calling him a liar?
I'm just saying he wasn't there.
You heard Mr. Knight testify that the trailer wasn't trashed, and that's why you're calling him a liar.
He testified that a light fixture was broken, similar to the way that Johnny's light fixture was being rearranged and things like that.
The only thing that was broken in the trailer, according to Mr. Knight, was a light fixture. Yes or no?
I realized that he summed it up by saying a light fixture was broken, just the way his security guard summed up him trashing my closet as being rearranged.
I'm going to move to strike everything after he summed it up, that it was a light fixture. As non-responsive.
Answer the question, Your Honor.
In the security guard testimony, Your Honor?
Go ahead.
Mr. Knight also testified that he charged Mr. Depp only $62 for the damaged light fixture. You heard that, correct?
I did.
In Hicksville, you were the only one that was jealous of Mr. Depp spending time with other people. Isn't that correct, Ms. Heard?
That is correct.
In Hicksville, you were the one who was upset that Mr. Depp wasn't giving you enough attention.
Incorrect again.
Mr. Heard, you told the jury that you had no idea the press was going to be at the courthouse when you got your TRO on May 27, 2016. Do you remember that testimony?
I said I did not have anything to do with it. Yes.
No. My question again. You told this jury that you had no idea that the press was going to be outside after you got the ex parte TRO on May 27, 2016. Do you remember that testimony?
I apologize, I misunderstood Ms. Vasquez. I actually had no idea whether they were going to be there or not. When I walked into the courtroom that day, it was completely quiet, still, empty. Even though I had given Johnny's team notice that I was filing the TRO,
this is not
nobody in the press knew.
And Your Honor, I would also ask the instruction witness to please stop talking once I lodge an objection.
Your Honor, she's trying to answer the question as best she can. Ms. Vasquez is misrepresenting to her what she testified to.
Well, I will strike the last part as non-responsive. Just yes, answer the questions asked. Okay, thank you, Mr.
In fact, you testified that you were, quote, shocked when you saw press when you were leaving the courthouse. Yes?
Yes.
You weren't shocked at all, though, were you?
Incorrect. It was
You knew the press would be at the courthouse, right, Ms. Heard?
no.
Well, you did bring your publicist to the courthouse with you on May 27th, 2016, didn't you?
I sure did. I'm a public figure. I brought my publicist in case it blew up. In case.
You actually had alerted TMZ that you would be filing a TRO against Mr. Depp that very day, didn't you?
No, I did
The
not.
one day you didn't bother to wear makeup to cover up the mark on your face.
I did not call TMZ or any other news source or paparazzi source. No one. I never did that.
Testimony from former TMZ employee Morgan Tremaine yesterday, correct?
Did I hear his testimony? Yes, I was here.
And you heard Mr. Tremaine's testimony that he knew to dispatch the paparazzi to the courthouse on May 27th, right?
I heard him say that he knew that, yes.
Yeah, and that he dispatched paparazzi to the courthouse to capture a picture of an alleged bruise on the right side of your face. Do you remember him saying that?
I remember him saying that.
That information must have come from your team, right, Ms. Heard?
Absolutely not. Why would I want that? What actual survivor of domestic violence wants that?
Now, the video of Mr. Depp beating up some kitchen cabinets, you admit that you took that video, correct?
Yes, I did.
Right. And you acknowledge that the video was released online the day before you were deposed in connection with your divorce from Mr. Depp in August of 2016, right?
I believe it was, yes.
But you testified that you had absolutely nothing to do with the video's release, right?
Absolutely not.
And you testified that you learned about it when you landed after flying into LA. Do you remember that testimony?
Upon touchdown is when I was alerted to the video's
You
existence.
heard Mr. Tremaine testify about this video as well yesterday, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And you heard Mr. Tremaine testify that TMZ received the cabinet video the same day you landed at LAX. Yes?
I don't know if that's what his testimony was. I'm sorry.
You heard Mr. Tremaine testify that the cabinet video was posted 15 minutes after TMZ received it. Yes?
That's what I heard him say.
And that this could only have been possible if the video was received directly from the source. Yes?
I heard him say that. I don't know if that's true or if that's possible. Because if it didn't come from me, I was lying.
Tremaine
So
testified.
I know that's incorrect, is what I mean to say.
Another liar on the stand.
I just know that that's incorrect.
Right. And you heard Mr. Tremaine testify that TMZ owns the copyright to the cabinet video, right?
That's news to me.
The cabinet video you filmed of your then husband. Yes?
The copyright ownership of that is news to me. I learned that yesterday.
It's the cabinet video that you captured of your then husband. Yes?
That is correct. I did capture that video. And yes, that was my husband.
The same cabinet video that was released the night before you were deposed in your divorce. Yes?
That's correct.
You must have also heard Mr. Tremaine testify that the version of the cabinet video that TMZ received was incomplete compared to the video the jury saw in this trial. Did you hear that?
The video that the jury that you have seen is complete.
Right. But the one TMZ got the day before your deposition and divorce was incomplete.
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
He testified that the beginning portion of the video where you set up the camera, that wasn't included in the video that TMZ received.
I don't know what video TMZ
I'm talking about Mr. Tremaine's testimony, Ms. Heard. Let's just
ask you his testimony.
No, I'm asking you if you recall hearing him say those words to this jury.
Yes, I heard his testimony. We all did.
And he testified at the end of the video where you can see, Ms. Heard, you just testified that this case has been very hard for you. So let's talk about that and why.
All right.
All right, so that was one of the big moments there as well. Obviously, so much to be talked about in this trial. There was a lot of highlights, and we're going to continue that right here on Live Now from Vox. We have thrown out our breaks here for most of you right now that are joining us here on Live Now from Vox. Any moment, this verdict will be announced in the defamation trial. So stay right here with us. We are not going anywhere here for you. The next highlight I want to show you is Johnny Depp on the stand saying that Amber Heard set me up to look bad in photos. Take a look at this right here on Live Now from Fox.
That the last few years before Amber, that your relationship with your kids was such that there was a perception by them that you weren't around for them, and that all changed when Amber came into your life, correct?
Objection calls for speculation.
Just asking what he's aware of.
May I have the question one more time, please?
You're aware that, sure. You're aware that the last few years before you started dating Amber, that there was a perception by your kids that you weren't around, and that all changed when Amber came into your life.
This is not exactly the truth of what you're trying to put forth.
No, I'm just asking you were aware of my question. There was a perception that you weren't around for the last couple of years before Amber, and that changed when Amber came into your life. That's all I'm asking.
Asked and answered, Your Honor.
There were extenuating circumstances.
Without objection. I'll overrule that objection.
Thank you. You're also aware that there was a perception you were made aware that Lily Rose believed that Amber was a good influence on you and changed you for the better, correct?
Objection, hearsay, Your Honor.
Just asking for what his understanding is.
I'll sustain the objection. Let's move on.
All right.
Very.
You don't have to
answer that question. I sustain the objection.
I'm sorry.
That's fine. Next question.
You're aware of the lengths that Miss Heard went to care for you when you were impaired on drugs or alcohol, correct?
You'd have to be specific.
Okay.
Please.
Let's be specific. Sorry. Can you please pull up Exhibit 839? Your Honor, this is a recording. We plan to play 6 minutes and 55 seconds through 7 minutes and 29 seconds.
Is this a recording we already have?
I don't believe so, but I'm not 100% sure if this has been
839.
eight defendants, 839.
Is there any objection to that audio recording?
I don't believe, assuming this is an audio recording between Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard, then we have no objection.
All right. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
No objection to it being entered evidence, correct?
That's
And
correct.
it's full content, but we're just playing a portion of it. Is that
That's
correct?
exactly right.
Right.
Yep.
Not in evidence then. Okay, thank you.
And permission to play the clip mentioned to the jury.
Okay, I assume there's no objections. That's fine, go ahead.
I could hear you snoring. In case if you vomited, I could call EMS if you ever stopped snoring. Because if I thought you would choke on your own vomit, which is very likely. Really? Yes. Very likely. Yes. Sure? Yes, you do vomit a lot in your sleep, even more. Good. Oh, it's sleep? Then this is affecting you a lot more than I thought it was.
Can you please pull up Defendant's Exhibit 1094?
Your Honor, may we approach briefly?
Mr. Depp, do you recognize this picture as being a picture of you?
Yes,
Ms. Heard
kindly showed me the day after she took it, yes.
Okay. This picture. I'd move for the admission of Exhibit Defendant's Exhibit 1094 and ask for permission to publish, Your Honor.
We have no objection, Your Honor.
This is a picture of you on a black leather couch, passed out, correct?
Passed out's an interesting way of putting it. Maybe asleep.
Where is it? What residence?
That's in Boston.
I'm sorry?
That was in Boston when I was doing Black Mass.
In Boston. And that's ice cream on your lap, correct?
It is indeed. Miss Hurd asked me to hold the ice cream as she noticed that I was on the nod. That means falling asleep from the 17-hour day that I'd worked and also the opiates that I'd ingested. And if you'll notice, my right hand is in my pocket. So I wasn't participating in the festival of ice cream.
Okay.
I was holding her ice cream, and because she knew what was going to happen, that I would fall asleep and drop, and that was a wonderful picture to take for her.
Sure.
I don't know why she took it.
Well, so it's Miss Hurd's fault that picture was taken. Is that what you're saying?
She snapped it.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about this, because you say you were in Boston. This is when you were filming Black Mass.
Yes.
And you testified that was kind of the last film that you did when you were taking opiates, right?
Yes, it was right before the trip to the island.
And you testified yesterday that opiates, you don't take opiates to get high, right? You've testified to that on a couple different occasions, correct?
You certainly can take opiates to get high. If I doubled the dose, then I would most assuredly be ready for sleep. That's not a blackout. That's
sure. So if you double the dose, you'd be ready for sleep, but it wouldn't get you high in the way that other drugs would, correct?
Well, the high is it's a extreme downer. That's its job.
Right, and for that reason, I believe you testified yesterday or two days ago. It's not like you take those pills to get high. You remember giving that testimony, correct?
I said that it's not like I took the pills to get high. I took the pills to be normal, to stay normal, so that I wouldn't get sick.
866, please. What number did you say? I'm sorry.
Defendant's Exhibit 866.
But I also believe that I said that I asked Nurse, or I told Nurse Debbie that I had told her that I needed more than I actually took because I always wanted to have one or two in my pocket just in case the kick started.
If you could take a look at the text at the top of that page,
yes.
It's a text exchange between you and Aaron Borum. Aaron Borum testifies as one of Dr. Kipler's nurses, right?
Yes, sir.
And this is a text exchange that you had with her in August and September 2016, correct?
So I'm looking for the. Oh yes, yes. Which one are we looking at?
The top three. And in the first, she tells you that she's watching Black Mass for the third time, right?
So August 30th. Yes.
Yep. And Your Honor, I'd move for, I'd like to admit this exhibit 866 and permission to publish, please, and particularly.
All right, that was just another highlight that we have here for you right here on Live Now from Fox. Obviously, the moment is coming up pretty soon, maybe more than just a little. Over 20 is where it will all go down. The verdict in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard defamation trial. It was reached about an hour and a half ago, and now we are awaiting the results there. The announcement, of course, we got you covered for shots outside of the courthouse as well. Media is all set up as we await this verdict right here. And in just a little bit, we will be talking to Fox 5's Katie Barlow with the very latest leading up to this verdict of this trial that has spanned 6 weeks. It has captured the attention of millions, not only in this country, but really around the world right now, and it's really something that has been a phenomenon, not only for TV, but social media. I mean, you really couldn't go too far away from social media, and you saw the different types of memes and all different really ideas from both sides, if you were in the Johnny Depp camp or if you were in the Amber Heard camp there. So this is some video from past trial dates, and of course we feature it for you always right here on Live Now from Fox Everybody. Let's continue on. I just want to play out some more highlights here for just a little bit before we get back out to live coverage here on Live Now from Fox. Want to play out more right here for you of some of the very big highlights that the trial that was here in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial right here on Live Now from Fox.
I'm gonna leave in a little bit, but
absolutely commit a difference between a sore face and a broken nose. You bet I would.
That's your testimony under oath that you never struck Mr. Depp as the initial aggressor?
Well, he was holding me against the wall by my neck. You know, I might be the first person to have been the first one to slap, which happened in Australia, you know, when he was choking me. But
you got physical with Mr. Depp often during your relationship, didn't you?
I had to defend myself as best I could. Didn't seem to make much of a difference.
You just couldn't control yourself, could you, Ms. Heard?
I tried to defend myself when I could, but it was after years of not defending myself.
Can we please pull up Plaintiff's Exhibit 356? And Your Honor, portions of the exhibit were entered into evidence yesterday, but we moved to admit the entire recording.
All right.
And I can confirm that there's no other voices besides Ms. Heard's and Mr. Depp's. And I intend to play from 1:29:27 to 1:30:07.
So I have 356A in evidence. Is any objection to the entire 356 coming into evidence?
If I may.
Okay.
Hold on just for a moment, Your Honor. I have to check on something. Which one?
All right, that was just some of the highlights. Obviously, we are getting close to that verdict. I'm your host, Mike Page. Right here, I have my co-host, Daytona Everett, joining us here on Live Now from Fox. And right now, we want to go out to Fox 5's Katie Barlow, joining us here on Live Now from Fox Live, right here for us. And, well, the moment has come, and now we wait, Katie. What is the scene like right outside of the course?
Good afternoon to both of you. The scene right outside the courthouse is getting a little busier, but still quieter than it has been compared to the duration of this 6-week trial. The jury's been deliberating since Friday. They told us just after lunch that they have reached a verdict in the defamation lawsuit between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. You can see behind me there are cars pulling up, including some black SUVs. We just got word that Amber Heard is on her way to the courthouse. She will be here in person for the verdict. We also heard from sources close to Johnny Depp that he will not be here for the verdict. He played a concert in the UK last night, would not be able to make the trip back. He will be watching, according to the source from the UK. Amber Heard will be here in person. Throughout the course of this trial, there have been a lot of folks who have been lining up, sometimes in the wee hours of the morning, to be able to get a glimpse of what it's like inside the courtroom. Only 100 individuals have been lucky enough to get in each day, including members of the press. So there have been a lot of people who have gathered outside who are not fortunate enough to get inside the courtroom. They are not here, haven't been here for the past couple of days, but I suspect we'll start to see a crowd grow over the next hour or so. But again, as we said, we will get the verdict from the jury. The announcement will happen at 3 p.m. when both sides, lawyers and Amber Heard and the judge and the 7 members of the jury will go inside the courtroom and the jury will deliver their verdict. But again, you can see behind me, there are folks pulling up. There is a crowd that has gathered in here for most of today. So that crowd has just gathered in the last 30 minutes or so, even in the last 10 minutes or so. And so I expect it to continue to grow as we get closer to the verdict and after it.
All right, Katie Barlow, breaking it all down for us, Fox 5 DC in the act. Appreciate it, Katie. Right here on Live Now from Fox. Well, the Fox, you can feel the anticipation growing in this trial that continues to be talked about on such a wide scale.
Yeah, not only is inside of the courtroom such a spectacle, but outside of the courtroom too, right where Katie Barlow is standing, has also been something to watch. People have been paying thousands of dollars, Mike, to travel out to Fairfax County to witness Johnny Depp inside of the courtroom there. There was a massive ship yesterday, people showing up in full costume, all Pirates of the Caribbean out, mostly in favor of Johnny. We haven't seen a whole lot of Amber Heard fans, but the demographics also across the board, all different ages, a lot of women showing up in favor of Johnny Depp there outside of the courtroom. So this has really been something, and I'm sure a lot of the fans out there that have shown up to support Johnny Depp probably a little bit frustrated that he will unfortunately not be there, but reporting that Amber Heard is going to be inside, and we'll also be hearing from his legal team, Camille Vasquez, who is that legal representation for Johnny Depp. There's been a lot of word about her. She has gotten a lot of FaceTime. She is now, I feel like, recognized by so many who have been following this trial closely here. So we are coming up on the top of the hour, 15 minutes out from when this verdict will be read. Throughout this entire trial, the judge has been spot on with her timing, Mike, so I think we are going to hear it right then at the minute.
Yeah, and definitely when that moment comes, no matter what we're in, no matter what we're playing, we are going to go right inside of that courtroom and bring it to you, just like if you were there. We know our viewers have been with us, really our gavel-to-gavel coverage from the very beginning, so we appreciate you joining us here from around the country and around the world as we take a look right outside of the courthouse here. We are being told that pretty soon Amber Heard is expected to arrive, so we will keep this shot going for everybody right here on Live Now from Fox. When Johnny Depp was on stand, Amber Heard refused to give meds during detox. Let's listen to that one. Had a lot.
Dr. Kipper is he's been my doctor ever since I met him. I believe it was that May of 2014, around there in Boston.
They answer to you find that Mr. Depp has proven all the elements of defamation on that first quotation regarding sexual violence. Then they don't answer the other questions. They go right to number 2. And if they don't find that, the likelihood is they won't find for him on any of them. And the same with Amber Heard. So it's going to be under 10 minutes, Stacey.
Okay, that's good to know. And just to remind your viewers what we expect to happen here, this just takes 10 to 15 minutes. The jurors, once they're let back in the jury room, they'll later be dismissed, but we expect the legal teams for both sides will come out and give some remarks. Other players in this as well. Unclear whether anyone will hear anything from Amber Heard immediately after this. And by the way, if you look on the screen, she is seated there in the courtroom awaiting the verdict with the rest of us. An interesting question that we got from Haley Howell on Facebook. Has the judge already heard the verdict, or will she be hearing it for the first time when we do as well? Janine, do you want to take that one? Okay. Janine has left us. We thank her for her time. Linda, the judge is going to hear the verdict just when we do, right?
Stacey, I'm sorry. I thought Nima was going to field that one, but I'll field it. Yes, the judge.
Nima, please take it, Nima. Guys, I'm out here in our Studio A. It's hot, it's humid. I can't see all of you in the monitor, so Nima, please, will the judge be hearing the verdict for the first time when we do?
The judge is going to get to see it, I guess, maybe 30, 45 seconds before, and then at that point, yeah. So the judge will know right before we will.
Okay, so this is all kind of happening in real time, off the cuff here, and the judge will be finding out, you know, barely any time before the rest of us. Sarah Wilson on YouTube asked, are they going to show the courtroom when it's being read? Yes, Sarah, that's what you're seeing now on your screen is a live picture of the courtroom. You see the attorneys there, you see Johnny Depp's attorneys there, you see Amber's attorneys, and you see Amber herself. Again, for those of you who are just tuning in, because we have new people logging on every minute as we get closer and closer, literally 1 minute away from 3 o'clock. Johnny Depp, we have been told by sources close to him, obviously is not going to be here. He's not there now. He is still in the UK after doing a series of surprise performances with Jeff Beck. He is expected to stay there. His team said that he had prior commitments in the UK, and he will be watching the verdict from there. We'll see whether he issues any kind of comment, video statement. We just don't know what we'll hear from him, but we do expect we will hear from his legal team as soon as this is over. And again, our cameras outside of the courtroom on standby, where we have seen crowds growing, supporters, and so forth, as we get ready for this verdict to be read. It is about 3 o'clock.
All right, are we ready for the jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. All right. Just for everybody in the gallery, reminder that this is a court of law, and regardless of the verdict, I will not tolerate any outbursts whatsoever. Okay? Thank you. If I could have the attorneys approach for a moment.
All right, again, you're looking live in. Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what I need you to do, I'm going to give the forms back to you. When you find for a defamatory statement, one or more, you need to fill out the compensatory damages. It has to be at least $1 for compensatory damages, and up to whatever you feel the damages should be. Back to the operation room and do that for me, okay? All right, so we'll be in recess till we hear back from them. Don't go too far, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Well, just as we were telling you, this could wrap up in just about 10 minutes by 3:10, 3:15. Not so fast. There was a little sidebar going on with the attorneys in the front. Apparently, the jurors didn't fill out the damages section. The judge now sending them back to complete this special verdict form, literally like a worksheet that they need to fill out. They didn't put in the damages. Linda, what do you make of that?
Well, Stacey, I mean, somebody won this case, that somebody won their defamation claims, right? Now, the fact that they didn't fill out the compensatory damages award, I think may bode well for Johnny Depp. The judge said it has to be at least $1. Usually you see if somebody wins, you have to fill out an award. Either that or somehow they both won, which I don't think is likely. But he was the one that didn't ask for damages, if you recall. He said, I'm not seeking damages. She asked for, I think it was $350,000 damages. So it sounds like someone won. It could be Johnny Depp because the jury may have telegraphed it by not filling out an award for damages. But under the law, at least has to be $1.
Right, so maybe they missed that instruction and just figured, oh, we're not awarding damages, so we're going to leave it blank.
That's right. That's what it could sound like.
Now, in the very unlikely event that they just forgot to do that section and they actually did intend for some kind of damages, we had a question from viewers earlier, which is what happens if there's a verdict, say, against Amber Heard, and there's a judgment awarded for Johnny Depp, and Amber Heard doesn't have that money, whether it's $50 million, whether it's $20 million, whether it's $10 million. What happens if she doesn't have that money, Linda?
Well, you know, we have that in many civil cases where the person that gets the verdict, they don't have, the defendant doesn't have the money, right? You can pursue her. It could be a claim that follows her around for the rest of her life. With it gets docketed, it gets logged. She could discharge it in bankruptcy, assuming it's against her. I mean, we're making a lot of assumptions. Maybe it's against him and it's $1. Who knows? But the likelihood is that with $1 verdict, the jury may just want to be sending a message for whoever wins. And again, we're assuming it's Johnny Depp, but it also could be Amber Heard because she was seeking damages. Maybe they found for her, but not giving them damages. We just don't know.
Yeah, we just don't know. I mean, this should be relatively quick, I would think, right? For them, if they've already decided on this and it was just an oversight that they didn't put anything in or didn't know that they had to write something. So, you know, they hopefully will be back in a few minutes. As we've been telling our viewers and more are turning in, the verdict has not been read yet. Just to bring everyone up to speed, here's what happened. Right at 3 o'clock on the dot, the judge, she is very punctual. She came into the courtroom. Everyone stood up. She brought in the jury. There was a little sidebar between the attorneys up in front. They were looking and they said, oh, guys, jurors, you didn't fill out the compensatory damages. You didn't fill that part out. There's nothing here. You have to go back to the jury room and fill this out. And so the jury was sent back out to take care of that, and that's what we're waiting for at this point. Again, Amber Heard, as you can see, is there in the courtroom with her attorneys. Johnny Depp is not here. His team having told us that because of prior commitments in the UK, which we know to be shows, he's playing music with Jeff Beck. He will be watching the verdict from the UK. So who knows? Maybe he's watching our coverage. If so, Johnny, call us. We want to do an interview with you as soon as this is all over. Linda, any final predictions here as we wait for word?
Well, it's very interesting with this possible $1 worth of damages. Now, but I have a question here, Stacey. I wonder if the teams know who the verdict was for, because remember, the judge brought them to the bench. They were looking through the verdict form. She obviously had to tell them that there was a verdict in favor of someone, but has to send them back for damages. We can't see the courtroom, so we can't see the body language or what's happening.
That's a good point.
So,
that is a good point.
I wonder whether they know who's won and who is lost, Stacey.
And if they did perhaps see that, I mean, would that be an issue? Would there be any sort of violation of rules or any ethics issues if they saw it before it was read out publicly in court?
Absolutely. Quite frankly, they have a right to see it and to tell their clients. So no, there's no violation. They have to know when the jury has filled out the forms, and they have to know is there a problem, because the judge has to tell them what she is going to do so they can either lodge an objection or not lodge an objection. And again, could they have just forgotten to fill it out? they may not have known that you just give $1 compensatory damages. Maybe it wasn't in the instructions. Quite frankly, I don't remember seeing it, but we should have one of our legal, eagle, fabulous people here that go through everything with a fine-tooth comb again to see whether there was an instruction about whether or not you had to award a compensatory damage of $1 if somebody wins.
Let me set the scene for those who are just tuning in. You're looking at a picture live outside the Fairfax County Courthouse here, where you see the crowds are growing. If you can hear in the audio behind me, there are helicopters of local news helicopters taking pictures of the crowds. It was just, I think, gosh, I'm losing track already, but around 1:30 when we got word that a verdict was going to be at 3 o'clock, at that point, it was basically just media hanging out outside trying to keep cool. As soon as we found out the verdict was coming, well, quickly, all the media assembled in their spots, and we started to see more and more cars pull up, more and more cars pull up into the parking lot, more fans come outside, obviously more people go inside the courtroom. You have to have one of these special wristbands in order to be in the courtroom or the overflow room, and now we see a much bigger crowd, which is probably going to continue to grow over the next few minutes. It's possible, since we now know that Johnny Depp is not coming, that some of the fans who were hoping to catch a glimpse after the verdict was read, they decided to sit it out because they know he's not here. Again, Amber Heard is there inside of the courtroom with her legal team. Unclear whether she'll make any kind of statement afterwards. As you can see in that picture outside the courtroom, there is a live picture. There is a podium, rather, set up with all the microphones. So as soon as the verdict's read and the legal teams come out and the other key players come out, we are going to be getting that reaction to you, those responses to you live. A little bit of behind the scenes info here. Our own Ann Jeanette has just stepped outside, so she's going to join me in just a second, give me the lowdown on what's going on inside, what the timeline is here, when we could see jury back in the courtroom. But again, if you're just joining us, we were supposed to have the verdict read right at 3 o'clock. The judge did call the jury into the room right at 3 o'clock. Johnny Depp's legal team was there. Amber Heard and her legal team were sitting in there. But they looked at the paperwork, they looked at this special jury form, and someone said, oh, the judge said, oh, you guys forgot to fill out something pretty crucial here because the damages page was left blank. And the attorneys had a little sidebar, and then the judge sent the jury back to fill in the damages. Ann Jeanette just sat down next to me. Ann Jeanette, tell me, what's going on in there? What was the vibe? What's going on?
Well, I think the vibe was, everybody, we're told that we're not allowed to talk to anybody in there, which, we're news people, so, and we're just human beings, so that's really difficult, so we got kind of shushed. But it was interesting because it was kind of heavy. Like, Amber Heard walked in, she kind of greeted her attorneys, wearing a black dress. Her hair kind of pulled back loosely. This is different from a lot of the times we've seen her come in with the braids. I couldn't see whether she smiled or anything like that, but she came in. Obviously, we know Johnny Depp had previously scheduled concerts with Jeff Beck in London, so he's not here. Right. He's watching, we're told, from the UK. So they came in, the jury walked in, they took their seats. They kind of just looked around slightly, not a lot. And then they just kind of focused on the judge. Judge Ascarati calls the lawyers up. She says, you have to assign damages. I think I can safely say if they didn't assign damages, and they found defamatory statements, right?
Right. That's what we have been saying, and Linda agrees with you too. Tell me, first of all, who's in the courtroom, in the audience? Is it a mix of media and regular people, onlookers? Is it completely packed?
It's not as packed as it could be, or it has been. Like, there have been a lot of days where it's just totally packed. I was sitting next to a reporter from the UK, another reporter from Courthouse News. We were just, we've talked a lot during this case. We saw some of the local, I would call like more local fans here, any Amber Heard supporters up there. That doesn't mean there might not have been one or two there, but I did not see them. And, it's just kind of like, I felt like everybody's just kind of sitting there. They're waiting for the big news.
And so it's like almost like a false alarm. I mean, you came back out here. Does that mean you don't think they're going to be back for a bit?
Well, I felt I should come out here. And sorry, I'm a little bit out of breath.
Yeah, and Antoinette has her tennis shoes on, by the way, so she is out running you guys to get you everything you need to know. And don't forget, it's close to 100 degrees. So
I swapped the sand handles for the Brooks, sneakers. So, but I ran out of there as everybody else did, got on the elevator, came out. They obviously have set things up much differently now at the press conference area, and they've put up the, I forget what you call them, not barricades, but, the little, they've set it up so that the attorneys can walk out in a civilized manner and not be swarmed by people.
Barricades because they don't want people rushing them, and those barricades have been set up since yesterday in anticipation.
But this looks like almost like a red carpet or something. This is different than the barricades. This is like in front of the courthouse doors, and it's those things where you can kind of unhook the thing, the little ribbon thing, and you can unhook it. And they have those, and there are fans on both sides. So there are depp supporters, it appears, on both sides.
Right, and we're showing our viewers that picture outside the courthouse right now. So, and by the way, I just want to say to everyone who's tuned in right now, we've got 2.7 million people watching us on YouTube. Thank you.
My goodness.
Feel free to send in your questions because while we wait, we want to answer more of your viewer questions. We've got, once again, our all-star panel, Linda Kenny Bodden's with us in the studio. We've got other guests joining us, obviously, and Jeanette is here, so keep sending us your questions, and we are here to answer them. Now, it's funny, you say it's almost like a red carpet. These lawyers have really attained celebrity status over the last 6 plus, going on 7 weeks of this trial. I mean, Camille Vasquez now has fans from all over. Talk a little bit about that, about sort of like the status that these lawyers have earned during this trial.
Yeah, and Ben Chu especially and Camille Vasquez have become celebrities. TikTok started making videos about both of them. There have been plenty of moments in this trial that were comical, despite the very serious subject matter being discussed. But there have been some amusing moments, and they have become stars in their own right. They've become almost legal superstars. So they've become celebrities. There have been times out here when they've left court where I actually felt a little bit concerned because I felt like even
All right.
All right, Mr. Foreperson, is this the verdict of the jury?
Yes.
All right, is it unanimous?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Jamie?
In civil case number CL 2019-2911, Mr. Depp's claim against Ms. Heard. 1. As to the statement appearing in the online op-ed entitled, Amber Heard, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change. In the Washington Post online edition. Quote, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change. End quote. Do you find that Mr. Depp has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer, yes. Has Mr. Depp proven by a greater weight of the evidence that, question, the statement was made or published by Ms. Heard? Answer, yes. Question, the statement was about Mr. Depp. Answer, yes. Question, the statement was false. Answer, yes. Question, the statement has a defamatory implication about Mr. Depp. Answer, yes. Question, the defamatory implication was designed and intended by Ms. Heard. Answer, yes. Question, due to circumstances surrounding the publication of the statement, it conveyed a defamatory implication to someone who saw it other than Mr. Depp. Answer, yes. Do you find that Mr. Depp has proven, by clear and convincing evidence, that Ms. Heard acted with actual malice? Answer, yes. 2. As to the statement appearing in the op-ed entitled, A Transformative Moment for Women in the Washington Post print edition, and the online op-ed, Amber Heard, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change. In the Washington Post online edition. Quote, then 2 years ago, I became a public figure representing domestic abuse, and I felt the full force of our culture's wrath for women who speak out, end quote. Do you find that Mr. Depp has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer, yes. Has Mr. Depp proven, by a greater weight of the evidence, that, question, the statement was made or published by Ms. Heard? Answer, yes. Question, the statement was about Mr. Depp? Answer, yes. Question, the statement was false? Answer, yes. Question, the statement has a defamatory implication about Mr. Depp? Answer, yes. Question, the defamatory implication was designed and intended by Ms. Heard? Answer, yes. Question, due to circumstances surrounding the publication of the statement, it conveyed a defamatory implication to someone who saw it other than Mr. Depp? Answer, yes. Do you find that Mr. Depp has proven, by clear and convincing evidence, that Ms. Heard acted with actual malice? Answer, yes. 3. As to the statement appearing in the op-ed entitled, A Transformative Moment for Women in the Washington Post print edition, and the online op-ed, Amber Heard, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change. In the Washington Post online edition. Quote, I had the rare vantage point of seeing in real time how institutions protect men accused of abuse. End quote. Do you find that Mr. Depp has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer, yes. Has Mr. Depp proven, by a greater weight of the evidence, that, question, the statement was made or published by Ms. Heard? Answer, yes. Question, the statement was about Mr. Depp? Answer, yes. Question, the statement was false? Answer, yes. Question, the statement has a defamatory implication about Mr. Depp? Answer, yes. Question. The defamatory implication was designed and intended by Ms. Heard. Answer. Yes. Question. Due to circumstances surrounding the publication of this statement, it conveyed a defamatory implication to someone who saw it other than Mr. Depp. Answer. Yes. Do you find that Mr. Depp has proven by clear and convincing evidence that Ms. Heard acted with actual malice? Answer. Yes. As against Amber Heard, we the jury award compensatory damages in the amount of $10 million. As against Amber Heard, we the jury award punitive damages in the amount of $5 million. In civil case number CL 2019-2911, Ms. Heard's claim against Mr. Depp. 1. As to this statement, appearing in the April 8, 2020 online edition of the Daily Mail, quote, Amber Heard and her friends in the media use fake sexual violence allegations as both a sword and shield, depending on their needs. They have selected some of her sexual violence hoax facts as the sword, inflicting them on the public and Mr. Depp. Do you find that Ms. Heard has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer. No. 2. As to this statement, appearing in the April 27, 2020 online edition of the Daily Mail, quote, quite simply, this was an ambush, a hoax. They set Mr. Depp up by calling the cops, but the first attempt did not do the trick. The officers came to the penthouses, thoroughly searched and interviewed, and left after seeing no damage to face or property. So Amber and her friends spilled a little wine and roughed the place up, got their story straight under the direction of a lawyer and publicist, and then placed a second call to 911, end quote. Do you find that Ms. Heard has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer. Yes. Has Ms. Heard proven by a greater weight of the evidence that question, Mr. Waldman, while acting as an agent for Mr. Depp, made or published the statement? Answer. Yes. Question. The statement was about Ms. Heard. Answer. Yes. Question. The statement was seen by someone other than Ms. Heard. Answer. Yes. Question. The statement was false. Answer. Yes. Do you find that Ms. Heard has proven by clear and convincing evidence that the statement by Mr. Waldman was made with actual malice? Answer. Yes. 3. As to this statement, appearing in the April 27, 2020 online edition of the Daily Mail, quote, we've reached the beginning of the end of Ms. Heard's abuse hoax against Johnny Depp, end quote. Do you find that Ms. Heard has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer. No. As against John C. Depp II, we the jury award compensatory damages in the amount of $2 million. As against John C. Depp II, we the jury award punitive damages in the amount of $0.
Does either side wish to have the jury polled?
Yes, Your Honor.
Jamie?
Members of the jury, if this is your verdict, please answer yes. If this is not your verdict, please answer no. Juror number 6. Juror number 10. Juror number 15. Juror number 16. Juror number 22. Juror number 27. Juror number 29.
I do find that the jury's verdict is unanimous. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes your service in this case. I want to thank you again for your dedication and your hard work during this trial. I know I speak for everybody here when I tell you that we appreciate your sacrifices and your time and your public service in this matter, okay? So I'm going to have you go back to the jury deliberation room for one more time, and then we'll release you from there, okay? All right, thank you. All right. Okay. In accordance with law, I will amend the punitive damages award to the statutory cap of $350,000 for Mr. Depp's award. Okay. I will set this down for entry of an order. And can we do it on June 24th at 10 a.m. if that's available? All right, Mr. Chu, if you could prepare that order and then circulate it to Ms. Bretterhoff, and we can have all the objections noted on it. All right? All right. If I get it before that date, I'll take it off the docket. Okay? All right, again, thank you to all the attorneys for your professionalism, and you're welcome to come to my courtroom anytime. Well, give me a few weeks, but then you can come anytime, okay? All right. Court is adjourned. Thank you.
All right. That's a lot of money. 15 million. He can make his own movies now. She's running. She had to keep the face the whole time. That's what it was. Could she not even muster up fake tears? She was just like... You thought you saw her cry? Oh, no. See, she didn't put the fake tears in beforehand, so then she wasn't able to. That's what it was. She's in there, she's like, dang, I forgot them. When they were reading it off. Yeah. That whole thing was a circus, though. The whole thing. In some of those recordings, he sounded crazy, and some of them, she sounded crazy. I think they're both crazy. He's just slightly less crazy, which is why he just got 15.
Outside the courtroom where you can see these fans, as I said, every time a judgment was read in favor of Johnny Depp, a huge crowd cheers went up here. The crowd cheering, Johnny. Clearly, heavily tilted in favor of Johnny Depp outside the courtroom right now. And so they're still standing outside. I imagine they are going to be here waiting for Johnny Depp's legal team to come out. As I was mentioned just a few minutes ago with Anjanette, the lawyers themselves have basically earned celebrity status during the course of this trial. The judge sending the jurors back into the jury room one more time before they are dismissed. Linda, do you think we're going to hear anything from Amber Heard?
Well, she came to the courthouse, so I assume that she will give a press conference. So they'll say they're going to appeal the verdict. They'll say that she was vindicated. Remember, this case has a lot of spin going on with it. But she's going to be asked the question: is how do you feel about the jury not believing your claims against Johnny Depp that he is he was the abuser? It turns out he was the victim, and she's not going to be happy with that question. I don't think there's an answer she can give that can spin that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think there's no question we're going to hear from her legal team. Maybe they'll take some questions. My guess is if she were to come out, and that's a big if because this is a pro-Johnny Depp crowd out here, if she were to come out, maybe she would make a brief prepared statement and then be like immediately ushered into a car by security. I don't think she's going to be doing any kind of press conference answering any major questions right now. Depp's team, on the other hand, I expect they will be. Again, for those who are just tuning in, the verdicts, I should say, not the verdict, but the verdicts are in, and Johnny Depp, the clear winner here, the jury determining that Amber Heard did defame him on all 3 counts that were being considered in her 2018 Washington Post op-ed. And joining us now is the one, the only, Dan Abrams, the founder of the Law and Crime Network with us. Dan, give me your reaction.
Well, first of all, we have to say, wow. I mean, I'm sitting in a car watching this live stream, just like 3 million plus others have been on the Law and Crime Network. And the fact that Johnny Depp won on all 3 counts is pretty amazing. Remember, this is a case where he sued a publication in London where the standard is harder to win. And a judge came back and said, no, he believed that Johnny Depp was a quote wife beater on 12 of 14 counts. Now you have a jury here of 7 people, 5 men and 2 women, coming back and saying that Johnny Depp was defamed on all 3 of the counts. I mean, this, I think, is a real surprise to a lot of people. Now, I had talked about previously the possibility of both of them, quote unquote, winning. But I think this, quote, win for Amber Heard is really a token win. Putting aside the money, right? Putting aside the fact that it's $15 million for him, $2 million